Hey Dance Fam, for any of you who don't know me, my name is Krista Jennings. I am one of the directors and one of the owners at the Movement Studios. Um, we do this video every year to go through some frequently asked questions about our competitive program. It really helps new families get a lot of questions answered in one place and helps me be able to send this to people instead of answering everyone's individual questions. So I'm just going to go through some highlights and yeah. So we're going into our 10th year as a studio. We opened in 2016. Nicole Klett and myself are the owners and co-directors. Our kind of philosophy is that we're trying to create artists, not just dancers. So it's our competitive program is more than just competition dance. We're really trying to get dancers ready for what's next for them, whether that be the pre-professional track, whether that be college dance, whether that be high school dance team, just trying to prepare them and have them be as successful as possible. We help provide stepping stones for future dance endeavors. We help do that through master classes, convention. We do report cards, report card meetings. We have an apprentice program. We offer audition prep classes throughout the season to help them with audition skills. And we also have like a company open class, which exposes dancers to all different styles that can be useful in the professional dance world. So in that class this year, we've done ballroom, we've done modern, we've done improv, composition. So it's basically anything that like we are not devoting a whole class to. We try to give them exposure in that class as well. We value the dancer as a whole, and we try to invest in the development of all dancers and also important skills beyond steps. Can be a lot of different things. A lot of it is um, teaching those dancers to be responsible, independent, teaching them interpersonal skills, things that they'll need whether they go on to dance or not. So some more about our team in particular. Um, at the time of auditions, dancers need to be anywhere from 6 to 18. Yes, you heard that right. 6 years old for the first time this year. This past year, we had 61 members, but we don't have any number in mind. We're not looking to have any particular size of a team. We've had all different numbers. Um, that being said, we do make cuts to our team. So I don't think that there's been a year yet where everyone has made the team. So we know that competitive dance is a huge time and financial commitment, and we want to make sure that dancers are only doing that when they're fully ready and can get the most out of the experience. So this next section is only for our minis. So if you don't have dancers who are ages 6 to 10, you can just skip past this part. So 6 to 10 is kind of a wide range, but dancers can be anywhere in there and still be on our mini team. It's kind of placed by age and level a little bit. So for our summer requirements for minis, the only thing that's required is our intensive, which is August 11th through 13th. In the fall, we are requiring two classes, jazz and lyrical, as well as Saturday block. Our block time is when we do, for minis, all of our learning of our dances, our rehearsing of dances will be every Saturday from 12 to 2. And that will be blocked into like normally about 30-minute increments for each dance once we have all the dances complete. But earlier in the season, it will be more like 90 minutes for one dance and then just running through the other one so they stay fresh in their brain. But the important thing for you to know is that all of the rehearsing is done in that one Saturday block. Our mini teams will do 3 competitions as well as nationals, since it's a nationals year. And they may do anywhere from 2 to 3 group dances. We've had as many as 4 before and as little as 2, kind of depends on how many minis there are, if it's small or large, and how many minis are taking different styles of dance as well. Our minis also participate in our company preview, which I'll talk about more later. That's our big show in February. And the auditions for the minis, along with all of the team, is July 13th, but the minis only have to be here from 1 to 1:45 for ages 9 and under. So if your dancer is 6 to 9 and that's their comp birthday, that's important to know too. So the 9 years old is not as of that day. It's normally their comp birthday as of January 1st. Um, and that audition will go till 2 p.m. if they plan on auditioning tap. So I think the time of the audition can be kind of daunting when you have a 6 or 7 year old, but just know that for our minis, it's anywhere from 45 minutes to 1 hour. We don't want it to be overwhelming for them. as I mentioned, the requirements for the regular classes start in the fall, but we do highly recommend taking classes um, outside the intensive, even though that's the only required thing. The block rehearsals will start um, in the early fall slash summer. I don't know what you call it. Basically, once FCPS is back to school, we'll start those Saturday blocks. Um, so even though they are only required in the fall to take jazz and lyrical, we highly recommend they take other styles like tap, ballet, strength and stretch. If they want to compete tap, they have to also take that corresponding tap class. So that's all about minis. Like I said, they're kind of their own beast a little bit. The rest of the company operates very differently in how they rehearse on the weekends and their block being on Wednesday. So I try to just get that out of the way. So the next section is all about our industry and movement company. So our movement company is our intermediate company, and our industry company is our elite company. That's how we refer to those. Our summer requirements for both, I'll say, is to take one ballet, one jazz, one contemporary, one strength and stretch. That's like the minimum, and the Wednesday block. Um, then, if you are in industry, you are required to take hip hop and tap. Um, and then, if you are on movement, you're required to take those styles only if you plan on competing in them. So, if you're not planning to compete hip hop or tap, you don't have to take them. We do really encourage all of our dancers to take both those styles, and everyone really likes those styles at our studios, but they are not required. Um, the For the fall, those requirements are pretty much the same for both companies, except for industry. We're not going to require tap in the fall unless you're competing tap, and they will have required a second ballet class in the fall, just like um, returning dancers, just like normal. Movement company, they attend 3 competition events and nationals, and industry company will do 5 competition and convention mixes and nationals as well. So we do nationals every other year. This past year has been an off year, so in 2026 we will plan to return to nationals. We plan to keep that every other year. We think it's a good balance of getting to do it, but also not burning your whole family vacation every summer on nationals. Um, although we have the 2 companies, we don't necessarily have designated teams within those companies. So we really think that it's beneficial to the dancers and to the studio to have like different mixes of dancers. So that means that the dancers who are in movement junior large contemporary and movement junior large jazz are different. One dance this year is 12 dancers, one dance is 13 dancers, and they're a different mix of dancers. That means that some we have like a mini in one of them, and some we have some older teen dancers. And part of our philosophy on that is that we want dancers to be able to like be the leader and be the ones being pushed at some point. So we have dancers who are the youngest one in the cast, and then they get to be the oldest ones in the cast as well. So I think that's a really good way for us to always look like we have a good variety of dances. It doesn't come out and look like copy paste in different styles. And it also gives dancers the opportunity to work with different people in different companies. So that's something a little bit different about us. We don't do any competition choreography in our weekly classes. That's also different about us. Everything is done over the weekend. So everything is done in Saturday and Sunday rehearsals, aside from our Wednesday block. Our Wednesday block for movement and industry company is every Wednesday from 7 to 9. You receive a schedule and it will say what we're running in what order. We tend to have like an A week, B week. And so you'll run your dances every other week. So let's go back to that. Movement Junior Large Contemporary might be on A week, but Movement Junior Large Jazz might be on B week. And during those block times, you would get your schedule, and it might be 7 to 7:20. We're running that dance on Wednesday, and you'll get the full schedule and know when your dancers should be there on Wednesday, when your dancers dismiss. That Wednesday block time is not designated to be new choreography. It should be just like kind of cleaning and maintenance of choreography. The learning of the choreography is done on our weekend rehearsals, and the major cleaning is also done on the weekend rehearsals. I'll talk more about those weekend rehearsals in a little bit. As I mentioned, we have those summer requirements for both these companies. Our summer session runs 5 weeks, July 7th through August 7th. We do ask that our families do plan vacations around that. We give you a good chunk of time at the front and the back end of that time, and we really want dancers to be present in classes since they get so much time off. It's really not good for them to take the whole summer off of dance. We also require our industry intensive for movement and industry company. It's August 11th through 13th. Um, so as I mentioned, we do like our dancers to all be present if possible over the 5 weeks, but we do allow dancers to miss up to 1 week of classes. That means you can miss every required class only one time. If you already had like major plans that you cannot change, what we normally do is like double up on some classes while you are here so we can still hit the hour count. But we ask that you do that and let us know what your conflicts are right away. And we also normally only make that concession like your first year because you didn't know what the requirements would be. Moving forward, we do ask that you kind of work around it a little bit. The only exception is if you are attending a different dance convention, dance intensive, because we do encourage outside training for like our pre-professional kids. Looking at my notes, we do start our choreography over the summer in August. We do have some pretty heavy weekends on both sides of the intensive because we have guests in town during that time. So we do start choreography both weekends around the intensive. That's really when we get into the meat of it. And then when SCPS is back, we use the weeknights of that time to start some choreography as well. So we don't start back here until after Labor Day with regular classes. So we try to use some of those like Monday through Thursdays, those first 2 weeks before then, to get some choreo done as well. So we just try to let people know that so you can start blocking that off in your schedules. We've listed all of our summer rehearsal dates on the company page of our website. So be sure to check that out. It will give you a better idea with more details. Our industry company and movement company also participate in our company preview. So I'll talk a little bit more about that now. I said it was in February earlier. It's January 31st this year, close enough. So that is when we debut all of our new competition pieces. We do a big show at Ernst Theater. It's a really amazing show. We do every group, do a trio, and senior solos. We don't do the other solos. And it's full lights, full costumes. It's a really good way to get everything on stage, work out some of the kinks before the competition season starts. So they are required to participate in that. And then we also participate in some community events throughout the season. We really think it's important to give back to the community, also share like our love of dance with sometimes some younger dancers. So we do a lot of community events throughout the year. Nicole is the head for that. So she will figure out who's available and what kind of dances we're doing for all those community performances. So the next section is all about rehearsals. I touched on it lightly. So this is again for movement and industry only. Minis, don't listen because all of your stuff is just that one little Saturday block from 12 to 2. Our rehearsals run Saturdays from 12 to 6 and Sundays 1 to 7 generally. Sometimes there's an outlier based on availability, but those tend to be when we rehearse. This is the time to learn, clean, and perfect our routines. When you turn in your contract at your auditions, you set the max number of dances that your dancer can be in. So we have a minimum though for movement and industry. Our minimum is 3 for 11 and under and 4 for ages 12 and over. So you would let us know, I'm comfortable with my daughter being in 6 dances, and we would use that information and put them in hopefully 6 different dances. Sometimes we don't get quite up to that number, but we work within your limit to figure out the casting of all that. Rehearsals will start on August 2nd, and we will also run some during blocks on Wednesdays too after auditions. So like July 23rd and the following Wednesday, we'll have some rehearsals during block on Wednesday as well during that 7 to 9 slot so we can utilize those. But generally the first like group rehearsal will probably be August 2nd. Do, do, do. talked about Wednesday block that we run through all of our dances from 7 to 9. Even if the dances are not complete, we'll run, if we only have 40 seconds done, we'll run that 40 seconds. We'll work on cleaning and notes of that 40 seconds so that the next time you have a weekend rehearsal, it can be super productive. We can just move on. An important note is that dancers can only miss one rehearsal per dance. That is a very hard line for us. And if they miss more than one, they'll be removed from the piece. So each dance usually rehearses 12 to 15 hours on those Saturday or Sunday rehearsals throughout the season. So if you're missing more than one rehearsal, you're missing like 6 hours of that, which is, it's just like too hard to come back from, and it's not fair to the choreographer or the other dancers. So you can only miss one 3-hour rehearsal for those dances. Rehearsals are posted. We have a Google Calendar that is synced up to our Jackrabbit app. You'll get all this information and the QR code to download the app with your contract. We also post all of our rehearsals on the company bulletin board. And then lastly, too, I send out an email every Monday with just what's going on for that week. That Monday email will only include like that week, or else it's super overwhelming. But we do try to post on that Google Calendar pretty far out. So once we have cast everything in July, you'll probably see July, August, September, October on there. So your family can plan accordingly. And then we tend to do the next chunk like November, December, January after that. We know that a lot of you guys have other kids, other places to be, not just at the studio. So we try to be respectful of your time and give you as much notice as possible with all of that. What's really important is that you let us know any conflicts before they arise. So the time to let me know that you're not available for rehearsal is not when you get the reminder in that Monday email that it's coming up on Saturday. In your contract, there'll be a place for you to write all of your known conflicts. If you don't know them all, then you can email me. I have like a crazy master spreadsheet that says like all the times when choreographers are available, when these dancers are not available, and it's a huge puzzle to put together, and it's really hard to move something once it's been set. So please do let me know those as far in advance as possible. The weekend rehearsal schedule can look kind of random. There might be weekends that you're here 6 hours Saturday and 6 hours Sunday, although we try not to do that. And then weekends where you're not here at all. It's just dependent on dancer conflicts and choreographer availability as well. If your dancer does have to miss a rehearsal because you've let me know in advance, they are responsible for learning all the choreography they have missed. If they don't know the choreography before the next Wednesday block, they won't be in the section that was added on. So it's their job to learn it. We take like meticulous breakdown videos and it all gets posted to YouTube. You have access to our playlist of all the things to work on. And if a dancer is out, we try to be very specific too with like, I'll say my daughter's name, Aubrey wasn't here, but Aubrey, you stand here and your count is 4 and you go to the right. So there's no excuses to not know what you're doing when you return to dance. So the next part is about the cost. So our costs associated with the team, first is tuition. So that's kind of outside of the team. Our tuition is on a graduated scale. You can find it on our website. We try to be really transparent about how much everything costs. A lot of our company dancers are on the unlimited plan, which is $490 a month, but it depends on how many hours you're taking. Also, that $490 is based on this last year's rate. They could be going up and down. Who knows? Probably not down because inflation. Intensive is charged on July 15th. Again, those rates are online. Since that is required for everyone, movement, industry, and minis. Minis is less because it's less of a time commitment. Monthly as well, we have a block fee for all companies. This past year, this is the fall rate. It was $105 per month, and minis, it was $60 per month. Again, these are fall rates. It's a little bit higher over the summer because it's for one 5-week chunk instead of the normal month that it gets divvied out over. That block fee covers all of your Wednesday blocks for movement and industry, Saturday blocks for minis, and all of the other rehearsals for movement and industry for group pieces. So any of those Saturday, Sunday hours of rehearsal is covered in that block fee. That block fee also covers like throughout the season, teacher hotels, food, travel for all of them. And the only exception to that is that if you are in a guest choreographer dance, there is a one-time fee of 125 per dance. They all charge us a lump sum upon setting the piece, so that is required if you're in a guest choreographer piece. Um, we tend to not do guest pieces for anyone under like the teen age, just because it is a lot to learn that dance that quickly. Um, then we have a rental fee. So this is $150. This covers like electricity and the use of the space. That's for solos, duos, trios. So that's not for groups. And that's per routine. So if you're in a trio, it's only $50 a person, but a solo, it would be one person responsible for that 150. And again, that is for the whole season. So we recommend you use the studios as much as you'd like to. You're paying that flat fee. You can use it as much as you would like to rehearse on your own. You just have to do a space sign up so we don't have any overbooking, but you learn about that once you're on the team. Um, do do do. Choreographers are paid directly for solos, duos, and trios. So the studio doesn't do anything with that. So if I have a solo with Aubrey and I tell Aubrey's mom that it's $80 an hour, Aubrey's mom is going to pay me $80 an hour, and that's up to the choreographer how they want to do that payment, cash, check, Venmo, whatever. Then comp fees as well. So these are all basically, we're just a pass-through entity to the competitions. I'd say the average is that a solo is probably like 170, a group is 65, a duo trio is like 75 the dancer per comp. These have gone up a lot. I know like the venue fees have gone up a lot for those comps as well. Also, if you're attending conventions with us, the average for those is 280 for each convention. So we just ask that parents really like sit down and look at the budget and decide what works for them, since that definitely can get pretty high pretty quick. One thing we do that I know a lot of other studios don't do, we try to return to comps we know and love every year, and when we get winnings in the previous season, those winnings roll right over to you the next season. So if Aubrey's solo got first overall and she won $100, that $100 comes off of her registration fee for the next year. A lot of studios don't give it back to the dancers, but we do. Um, the cost for competition really depends on the dance. We don't do anything super glitzy or like custom, so I'd say our average is like $80 a costume. But we definitely have had some push like close to 200 because of a lot of pieces. And then we've also had some be super cheap, like $20. So it just kind of depends on the year and the dance and the vision. Um, all of our competition fees are billed on the 15th, and the tuition stays on the 1st. So the tuition goes through Jackrabbit on your credit card every first of the month. And then on the 15th, I send out this massive billing spreadsheet, and you'll know what's due for that month. And you, for competition things, because we are a pass-through entity, we ask that you write us a check or cash if you prefer for those. If you don't do that, then it incurs a 5% credit card fee because we end up paying so much through the vendors and we are not upcharging these things for you. So you can do cash or check on the 15th, or if we run your card, it will just add on that 5%. Again, we try to just be super transparent about all of that. The next section is all about competitions and conventions. We try to stay pretty local. For the conventions, we do have to travel a little bit further. There just aren't as many options. For competitions, we pretty much stay Woodbridge, Fredericksburg area. For the conventions, we've traveled like Baltimore, Richmond, Norfolk. If you haven't done conventions before, they're like a traveling masterclass workshop. They're really cool with like the best choreographers in the industry. The dancers always leave the weekends feeling super inspired. We've attended DMI, Intrigue, Velocity, Hollywood Vibe, Ash. It's a really good place to network with choreographers, get more technique. Also, just like dancing next to new people who are really going to push you. A lot of them have scholarships associated with them, and that's really great. But also, just like anytime you're auditioning, you're getting better at the skill of auditioning. So we're trying to teach our dancers all about that. The next section is about solo duet trios. So in your contract, right around where you put your max number of group dances, you would select, yes, I'm interested in a solo. Yes, I'm interested in a duet trio. So those are requests. The directors, myself and Nicole, will decide if we are doing those. Um, we've never had a year where everyone who wants a solo gets a solo. Again, we know it's a huge financial commitment, and we don't want to do it just to do it. We want it to be a positive experience, and we want to make sure the dancer has enough vocabulary to put a dance on stage that's going to do well throughout the season. We only allow one solo per dancer or one duet trio per dancer. The caveat to the solo is if you're attending 3 or more optionals, we do allow a second solo, but that's only if you're attending 3 or more optionals and if that's approved by us. When you do that request, you do not request your choreographer or your style or your dancing partners for duet trios. All of that is decided by us. We know what we're doing. We've been doing it a long time. And yeah, if you're selected to do a solo or duet trio, you'll receive an email from the choreographer. If you're not selected, you'll receive an email from me letting you know that not this year. As I mentioned before, a solo is a really big financial commitment. There's that $150 rental fee, and then every time you compete is around that 170 plus all of the private time with your choreographers. So just make sure you budget that out and make sure it's something that's financially feasible for you to do before you say you want to. Our requirements for solos is that you need to run it 2 times a month for 30 minutes, and at least one of those needs to be with the choreographer. So those requirements tend to be more once the choreo is done. We try to finish around like November. But before then, most dancers are meeting more often and for longer chunks of time while we're still learning the choreography. After the dancers have rehearsed, there's a log on our company bulletin board, and they're supposed to write down their time, the date, and if they rehearse by themselves or with the teacher, and that's how we track it. And if you don't hit your number for the month, you'll get a little email from me. So yeah, I think it's a good twice a month is reasonable, and everyone looks really great on stage and they're always ready to perform. Then the last section is all about our auditions. So I touched on it a little bit. Again, for ages 6 through 18, it's July 13th. We are only having one audition. We will accept video auditions up until July 18th. Those have to be set up with Nicole. So her email's on the website. She'll give you all of the requirements for a virtual audition. The results from the audition will be out July 21st. So that's a Monday, and rehearsals for some would start that Wednesday during block, that Wednesday, July 23rd. So it's a pretty quick turnaround. Auditions run 1 to 7, but it will be grouped by time, so no one will be there the whole time. We much prefer everyone come in person if you're available. They'll do contemporary, jazz, and hip hop is required for everyone, and tap is only for dancers who plan on competing tap. We talk about this through audition prep class, but everyone should wear something that makes them stand out, that's versatile for all styles, that looks professional. Their hair should be pulled away from their face, with light makeup on for ladies or gentlemen if they like. We will be taking photos of the dancers at check-in, so make sure you come ready for a photo. You can prepare by stretching at home, taking as many classes as possible, especially classes where you're going to have to learn choreography very quickly. Our dancers at TeaMS re-audition every year. You're not guaranteed a spot just because you're a returning member. We really do use the audition as kind of like a fresh slate for everyone. New dancers, you're probably a new dancer if you're watching and listening to this, especially if you've gotten through this long. We would like for you to schedule a trial class before the end of May to do a placement for levels, especially if you know for sure you want to come to TeaMS. A lot of our classes are almost full. This is April when I'm recording this. So we want to make sure that you are not locked out of classes that you need to get into. We're having open classes May 7th and 21st. Those can be used for placement as well. Those are designed for dancers like intermediate to advanced, our levels 2 through 6. If you are coming to the audition, the assumption is that you want to commit to the team and be cast in pieces. So that means that um, there shouldn't be any takebacks after you audition because it ends up really messing with casting, ages, etc. So if you are coming to auditions, the assumption is you're going to move forward with our team. It shouldn't be I'm auditioning here and I'm auditioning there and we'll see what happens because it ends up really messing up like, oh, this is now a small group. Oh, this is yeah. Um the results will be emailed out and posted on our website. And then you'll also get the cast list. So you'll understand, you'll know like one, your dancer made the team, and then two, you'll know which dances they're in. And then that's your time to then look at the app and go to that Google Calendar and see all the times those dances are rehearsing. We're having audition prep classes July 9th. You'll see flyers on Facebook and information on our website as well. 7 to 8 for the minis and 7 to 8:45 for juniors, teens, seniors. There'll be a mock audition combo. There'll be talks with our directors and alumni for audition tips, and it's a really good opportunity to ask questions. Um, Pre-registration is required for auditions, so make sure you've registered through our website. It's free. It's just so we have all of your information prior to the audition. And I think that's it. If you have questions, please email me. My email's on the website. Yeah, we're excited for our 10th season and probably the biggest one yet. So thanks for watching.